What if I told you the most famous scientist in history spent more time trying to turn metal into gold than he did writing the laws of physics? Isaac Newton, the man who explained gravity, invented calculus, and secretly believed he had decoded a hidden message in the Bible predicting the exact date the world would end.
And yet, the laws of physics are what survived. I believe the universe operated by rules. I simply looked for them everywhere.
Before we get into all of that, Tainaz, and trust me, we are getting into all of that, Tailiz, let's start where the story actually begins. You were born so premature in 1643 that your mother later said you could fit inside a quart mug.
I was not expected to survive the first night. It was a harrowing experience.
And then your father died before you were even born. Your mother remarried and left you with your grandmother. You grew up completely alone.
Solitude was not something that happened to me. It became the condition in which I did my best thinking.
That theme, the isolation, loneliness, just you and your own mind about, it follows your entire life. But we will come back to that. First, I need to ask about the apple.
People always ask about the apple.
No, what I wanted to do like this rope actually takes. So did it actually hit you on the head or not?
No, I observed it falling and asked a question nobody had seriously asked before. Why does it fall straight down and not sideways?
One question. That is all. That is all it took?
The right question is worth more than 1,000 answers.
And that question eventually became the universal law of gravitation. The same force pulling that apple also controls the moon, the planets, every object in the entire solar system.
I simply followed the logic where it led.
Here is the part that should bother everyone. You did most of this before you turned 26. During a plague. Alone in quarantine.
Cambridge closed due to the epidemic. I returned home and had nothing but time and silence.
So while the world was shutting down, you invented calculus and explained gravity.
Yeah.
Most people during lockdown could not finish a book.
Necessity removes distraction. I had no choice but to think.
Speaking of calculus then, you invented an entirely new branch of mathematics because the existing ones were not powerful enough to describe what you were seeing.
I needed a language to describe motion and change. No such language existed. So I built one.
You just casually built a new branch of mathematics.
Right.
Because the old ones were not good enough.
Right.
That sentence should not be as calm as you just said it.
Right.
The problem required a solution. The solution required new tools. It was as simple as that.
And then Leibniz independently invented the same thing eternity. And instead of celebrating that two people reached the same truth, you started one of the most vicious intellectual wars in history.
The priority of discovery was mine. That mattered to me greatly.
You were president of the Royal Society. You launched an official investigation into the
Yeah.
dispute.
Yeah.
And then secretly wrote the conclusion yourself.
I sought to ensure the historical record was accurate.
You were the judge, the jury, and the author of the verdict.
Yeah.
In your own case, that is not a scientific investigation. That is a one-man courtroom.
I believed I was correct. I still do.
Because of that beef, British scientists boycotted Leibniz's notation out of loyalty to you. His notation was better. Britain fell behind in mathematics for 100 years. 100 years, Isaac.
I cannot govern the choices of others.
Your ego may have delayed a country's progress by a century. That's not a flex. That's a historic mistake with great branding.
The calculus itself endured. The notation was secondary.
Now, I need to talk about the part of your life that most people completely skip. You spent 30 years writing over 1 million words about alchemy.
I studied the transformation of matter. It was a serious scientific pursuit at the time.
1 million words. That is 15 full novels about turning lead into gold. while simultaneously being the most important scientist alive.
I saw no boundary between understanding the physical world and understanding its deeper, hidden order.
You also poisoned yourself with mercury during those experiments. Your hair later tested at 40 times the normal mercury level.
The pursuit of knowledge carries risks one accepts willingly.
You were going clinically insane from self-inflicted mercury poisoning, and your solution was to keep going. I do not know whether to be inspired or deeply concerned.
The work, the struggle, all of it, it was worth the cost.
Here is what actually stays with me, though. You never married. Almost no close friendships. You lived entirely inside your own mind for 84 years.
I found the company of ideas more consistent than the company of people.
Yeah. That might be the most quietly devastating sentence anyone has said on this show. That's a powerful statement.
I did not experience it as loss. I experienced it as focus.
200 years after you defined gravity, Newton, Einstein rewrote it completely, told the world gravity is not a force at all. It is the curvature of space and time. How does that land?
If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants.
You just responded to being scientifically corrected with the most graceful line in the history of science. You hit me with humility.
Every discovery depends on everything before it. Even the discoveries that later require correction.
Last question. You spent your entire life alone, chasing questions most people could not even imagine. Looking back, what was it all actually for?
I do not know what I may appear self. I have been only on the seashore. But to
The man who invented gravity, built calculus from nothing, and rewrote how humanity understands the universe. Beale just told us he felt like a child who barely found